and you have that kind of skill level, and the guy you're competing against is Tim Tebow, that shows you exactly, to your point, what kind of dudes they had all over the place in Florida. It didn't matter if it was quarterback, running back, O-linemen, receivers, defensive ends, defensive tackles, linebackers, secondary. They had
it all.
They had it all. And still didn't win every year. And still didn't win every year. Still didn't win every year. And I love those Florida teams. I know. I give you credit. You're staying on this. Cam Newton, as great as he was for that 1 year, I'm not going there with you, Harry. I'm not.
Copy and paste.
Okay, I'm going to remember these things if we go to the hot tub time machine college football world when it comes to that. We still got one football game left tonight. Harry's going to be there, as a matter of fact, because he lives in Atlanta, and Clemson's playing Georgia Tech at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. But a lot of people not having faith in Clemson. We do, but not Keyshawn Johnson from Keyshawn J. Will and Max.
Clemson is not as high and mighty as they were 4 or 5 years ago. They're a different program now. They've been depleted of coordinators over the last couple of years that have gone on to become head coaches. I mean, they when Chad Morris left to take the job at SMU, okay, they stayed the course. Tony Elliott was still there, stayed the course. It did well. Brent Venables on the defensive side of the ball was still there. And so Jeff Scott was still there. Then Jeff Scott leaves and goes to South Florida to become the head coach. Now all of a sudden Venables is at Oklahoma and Elliott is at Virginia. That's a lot to lose off a staff to think that they still going to be strong in the ACC.
The one thing more than ever before in modern college football, Harry, you can't have questions about your quarterback if you're going to be a national championship team. Stetson Bennett the fourth, or should I say, let me get it right. Stetson Fleming Bennett the fourth has become the dude for Georgia
got
quarterback.
That fresh cut down,
Absolutely.
man. You got to dress him right. You got that fresh cut.
I like the cut. I like the flow in the letters from last year more than this year. He looks too corporate for me this year. Last year he was Stetson Bennett the fourth with the flow. This year he's now the he says Fleming Bennett the fourth. Being the CEO of the program, but he's become a dude at quarterback for Georgia. Bryce Young is a dude at quarterback for Alabama. We know right now Anthony Richardson keeps doing this for Florida. He's going to be a dude for the University of Florida. But DJ Uiagalelei has got to be a dude for Clemson because that's what they're used to when it was Trevor Lawrence, whether it was Taj Boyd, with Deshaun Watson. If DJ Uiagalelei can't be a dude for Clemson, he is not going to be the starting quarterback, and that means Clemson's chances of being in the playoff are going to go from yes to nah. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, and they just need him to be more consistent than he was last year. He has the running backs. Will Shipley, I think he's going to be phenomenal this year. But one of the things I thought Clemson was missing offensively, and they had it with the Hunter Renfrow when Deshaun Watson there. They had it with an Amari Rodgers when Trevor Lawrence was there. Was that slot receiver being quick and shifty, can get in and out of breaks and just routing people up. They missed that last year. I thought just about every receiver they had was the same size, 6'3", 6'4", long, lanky, of that caliber. They have a freshman right now, though, Antonio Williams. I think Antonio Williams is going to be able to be that guy for Clemson this year, being able to work into the slot. They also have a smaller guy named Spector. But I'm looking forward to seeing Antonio Williams. Now, when I look at Clemson defensively, Clemson has the best defensive line in college football. Hands down. Best defensive line. And they're going to be able to wreak havoc, get to the quarterback, sack the quarterback. You talk about Brian Breesy, Miles Murphy, Tyler Davis, KJ Henry. And then they just had one get hurt. So they were like 5 or 6 deep. Moskal, he's going to be able to play some snaps as well. But they have a little bit of depth, and they have guys on that defensive line that can be dominant. And when you look into the NFL draft next year, they may have 2 of those guys go in the first round. I know Brian Breesy, he's going to be in the first round. But Clemson, can they be consistent offensively? Last year, we got to remember now, they won 10 games last year, and that was a down year for Clemson. But they finished the season well. They didn't start it off great. And they lost to the team that won the national championship in Georgia.
They could to secure this win.
NC State survives it 21-20. The Wolfpack did not score in the second half. They had to hang on. Owen Dapper, a couple of huge missed kicks. I hope the good folks in Greenville remember that he's a college student. We're in the age where a lot of vitriol can be directed at these young men. Just keep that in mind. ECU loses a heartbreaker. NC State survives. They're 1-0.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. this first full weekend of college football. Number 2, Ohio State, a win for the Big Ten with their 21-10 win over 5th-ranked Notre Dame.
Ohio State survived, and I think the team that impressed me the most was Notre Dame. I really expected a blowout here.
Brian Kelly drops his opener as the coach at LSU, and it comes in crushing fashion.
Florida State 24, LSU 23. The freshman Damian Ramos for the extra point. The snap is back, the hold is down, the kick is low, it's no good! Florida State has won in New Orleans. Final score, the Seminoles 24 and the Tigers 23.
And welcome to the labor of love that is Keyshawn J. Willimax with Harry Douglas and Freddie Coleman. Thanks for joining us on ESPN Radio. Catch us on the ESPN app. Watch us on ESPN Tune and tune in to us on Twitter at Coleman ESPN and at H Douglas 83. H Douglas, H Boogie, what's going on this morning, brother?
Nothing much, my man, Freddie. You know I love being on with you Labor Day.
Yes.
While all you slackers are at home taking this Labor Day off, me and Freddie right here, Pat Costello, also my boy James Steele back there working, and Alan Yates. We're here working on Labor Day. That's what we do, though, baby.
As my football coach from Mansfield University, Tom Elsass, always said after training camp, we are going to labor on Labor Day, but it's going to be a labor of love. Unless you're an LSU football fan, because they're not family. They could not catch the ball between you and me. How many times have we seen games like this? And a guy that we all know very well, Marty Schottenheimer, a guy who I think Harry should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He used to say a lot more football games are lost more than won if you can avoid turnovers, big plays allowed, pre-snap foolish penalties, and kicking game errors. All that happened to LSU losing 24-23 last night to Florida State down in the Superdome in New Orleans.
Yeah, Freddie, and I think it was more so a theme around college football, too, and it just trickled down to Sunday night when it came to LSU. Special teams matter. So a lot of people there, they get enamored by the offensive plays, the big touchdowns and the big runs, and then defensively, the interceptions, the sacks, and all that. But understand that there's 3 phases in a football game. Offense, defense, and special teams. They call it special teams for a reason. And we see last night with the missed extra point, it possibly could have cost LSU the game. Well, it cost LSU the game. Yeah. We don't know if it went in overtime, if they would have won it or not. But still, you didn't give your chance. You didn't give your team that opportunity. And I also look at the game this past weekend too, Freddie. East Carolina versus NC State. East Carolina got a punt block for a touchdown. But not only that, they missed the extra point to tie the game. The kicker had another opportunity to win it in regulation and missed another kick. Special teams matter. We see last night with LSU 2 muff punts, a blocked extra point, and then a missed field goal. You think about all of that. LSU could have won that game easily last night, but they did it.
And Brian Kelly, who's getting all that money to bring a family atmosphere down to Baton Rouge in the LSU. Check out what he had to say after losing a game that many people believe his team had no business losing to Florida State.
I was proud of our resolve. We battled, but, you know, we just have to learn how to play the game the right way, and that is for 4 quarters. We didn't play with the kind of sense of urgency that I want. For 4 quarters, and that was evident in our play. We didn't tackle very well. We couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. We didn't execute very well offensively.
They looked like an undisciplined team when it comes to LSU. We can say, Harry, all we want about, okay, you missed the field goal that was blocked, the extra point was blocked, the muffed punts and everything, but even outside of that, they look like an undisciplined football team. I go back to the Tarkin penalty that happened when Travis throws the touchdown pass to Pookie Wilson down the sideline. And he lunged and launched and helmet-to-helmet contact. That's what happens when we have a team that was not being disciplined mentally and physically. And we saw that from an LSU team that has a lot of talent, Harry. But that undiscipline, that lack of discipline, that cost them last night. And they better be careful it doesn't cost them even more games in a rugged SEC that went 13-1 over this weekend, and the only loss was LSU to Florida State last night.
Yeah, and that undisciplined play we seen last year in the National Football League with the Dallas Cowboys and how it hurt them, and then how it trickled over this year into preseason, and they still haven't got that fix. That play that you're talking about was B.J. Ojulari, the little brother of Aziz Ojulari, who played at Georgia, and he's going to be a pro. He's going to be a phenomenal player. I actually love his game. but certain things like that can't happen. Excuse me, it was Ali Gay.
Ali Gay,
Excuse me,
yeah.
Ali Gay,
Yeah.
who's another guy that I think is going to be playing on Sundays. And